My name is John Jay. I was born 1745 in a rich New York family. I went to what is now known as Columbia University. I studied law and real hard. While other people had fun, I made sure my essays got done. I graduated with a fancy schmancy law degree in 1760 and began working as an attorney in New York in 1764. Around this time was when the Sugar and Stamp Acts were first passed. While working as a lawyer, I built up a reputation for being fair and having moderate views. Because of this, when the time came to select representatives for the Continental Congress, I was one of the men picked. So, I hitched a ride and attended the first and second Continental Congress. I represented New York, and therefore I was instructed to oppose independence at first. I also helped write the Olive Branch Petition, which tried to bring a peaceful resolution to the tensions between Britain and the colonies. However, once it seemed like revolution was inevitable, I joined the independence movement and actually later became really involved. I helped ensure the Declaration of Independence got passed, and I was elected the president of the Continental Congress in 1778. Obviously, once we declared independence, it was wartime. During the Revolutionary War, I didn't really do any fighting. Instead, I was a diplomat to Spain, trying to get support. The role I played was mainly on the diplomatic side, especially near the end of the war.
That's the silencer. That's the grenade launcher. I'm finna kill you. I'm finna drill you.
In 1783, I joined Benjamin Franklin, Henry Lawrence, and John Adams to negotiate an end to the fighting. This ended up as the Treaty of Paris. The United States got everything to the east of Mississippi River, north of Florida, and the south of Canada. Most importantly, the United States was now recognized as a sovereign nation, and a new country was born. After this, I really got famous in the colonies.
When I got back to the colonies, I found out that Congress had decided to elect me as the Secretary of Foreign Affairs. While serving as Secretary, I realized that the new government was way too limited in its power. I believed that we needed a stronger, more reliable, and centralized government. I joined John Adams and Alexander Hamilton in writing the Federalist Papers, which defended the Constitution. In my second paper, I wrote,
"Nothing is more certain than the indispensable necessity of government, and it's equally undeniable that whenever and however it's instituted, the people must cede to it some of their natural rights in order to vest it with requisite powers."
That year, George Washington also appointed me as the first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Since I was the first guy running the show, I basically set the precedent for a lot of court procedures. I played a huge role in deciding how our government should function. One of the last major things I did was negotiate the Jay Treaty, which happens to be named after me. This treaty fixed a lot of issues that remained from the Treaty of Paris, such as trading rights and the remaining British presence in North America. However, Americans were so divided about this treaty that I basically lost all support in the colonies, making it rather hard for me to run for public office. The treaty actually said, quote,
"There shall be a firm, inviolable, and universal peace, and a true and sincere friendship between His Britannic Majesty, his heirs and successors, and the United States of America."
Pretty ironic, since the War of 1812 took place just a few years later. I also served as the governor of New York and worked to abolish slavery. Eventually, I retired to my farm in New York, where I later died.
So, even if John Jay wasn't one of our more well-known founding fathers, he really had a lot of important accomplishments. He was elected to both Continental Congresses. He was a diplomat for Spain and helped negotiate the Treaty of Paris. He was the first Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, and he served as the Secretary of Foreign Affairs under the Articles of Confederation. He then wrote 5 of the Federalist Papers, which argued for a stronger government. And one of his most important accomplishments, if not the most important accomplishment, was the Jay Treaty, which held off Great Britain and prevented the War of 1812 from happening sooner. Anything else?